I was robbed in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And honestly, when I told some of my friends, their reaction was basically, well, yeah, it's Rio and Brazil. Which is kind of funny, because I've lived here for more than 5 years already, and this was the first time it actually happened to me. And like, not because I never saw crime. I saw a shooting from my window, I saw people getting robbed here in Rio de Janeiro, and I saw a car being stolen near one of the apartments where I used to live. So I was never one of those people saying, oh no, Rio is perfectly safe, nothing's gonna happen here ever. I knew the risks, and maybe that's exactly why I lasted more than 5 years without being robbed, because I was careful. I avoided sketchy places, I didn't walk around at night with my phone in my hands, I didn't act like I was invincible, but this time my guard was down. And the story is more interesting than just foreign guy goes to Rio and gets robbed, because I didn't get robbed walking alone in a dark alley. I did not get robbed because I was filming in the middle of the street. And I didn't get robbed because I was waving my phone around outside a nightclub. At least not exactly. It started because a friend of mine came to visit from the United States, and I wanted to show him the real Rio. Not just the beach version, not just Ipanema, Copacabana and nice coffee shops. I wanted to show him the nightlife, the chaos, the music, the places where people actually go out. So I took him to Lapa. And if you know Rio, you know Lapa is quite complicated. It's one of the most famous nightlife areas in the city. Bars, samba, karaoke, people drinking in the streets, cheap parties, tourists, locals, everything. And it can be amazing. But especially late at night, it can also be quite risky. And honestly, going there with a brand new expensive phone was probably my first mistake. A few weeks before this, I had bought a new orange iPhone 17 Pro. Yeah, very subtle, and basically the most please steal me phone possible. And as soon as we arrived in Lapa, we got out of the taxi, walked just a few steps, and my phone just fell, face down, on the street. It was completely accidental. I wasn't filming, I wasn't flexing, I wasn't walking around with it in my hands, it just fell. But when I picked it up, it was obvious what it was, a brand new orange iPhone. And that was basically the only moment that night when my phone was visible, because after that I didn't use it at all. By the time we arrived in Lapa, my phone was already dead, and then it died like completely. So for the rest of the night it stayed in my pocket. I wasn't showing it and using it at all. I wasn't checking maps, I wasn't taking photos, I wasn't using it. And actually later in the Uber, my friend was the one on his phone looking at the photos, because yeah, my phone was dead in my pocket, and even my friend actually took the Uber, not me. But at that moment I didn't think of anything. We just continued the night, we met friends, we went to karaoke. One of my friends even left earlier because he lived nearby and everything was good. Yeah, honestly, like the night felt normal. Fun, silly, chaotic, very Rio. I even sang Ed Sheeran, which depending on your taste might be the real crime here. Never grow. Oh, it's and after that, around 2 a.m, we decided to go home. We called an Uber, and at that point I thought the risky part was over, because we had already left Lapa, we were not standing in the street anymore, we were not in the middle of the party anymore, we were inside a car. Uber. We were already in Flamengo. Basically, there's a huge park where the families in the daytime do meet other friends, walk around with kids and stuff, but this was the place where that's actually happened. We were inside the car, my friend was showing me the photos, and a motorcycle just stopped our Uber. A guy came up to the car and he asked for my phone. Only mine. Not my friend's phone, not the driver's phone. Mine. And then he asked for the password. But as I already told you guys, my phone was dead. Completely dead. So there was nothing I could even unlock. And that was it. He took it and disappeared. The whole thing probably lasted less than a minute, but my brain kept replaying one detail. Why only my phone? My friend had his phone out. The driver had his phone with GPS, but the guy asked only for my phone. And I can't prove actually what happened. Maybe it was random after all, maybe I was just unlucky, but it didn't feel random, because the only moments that night when my phone was visible was when it fell on the street. And then hours later, after we left, someone stopped our Uber in Flamengo, so like basically it's another district, and took exactly that phone. So I started thinking maybe in places like Lapa, some people are not just waiting for an easy victim right in front of them. Maybe they're kind of watching and maybe they kind of notice who has what. Maybe they wait until you leave the crowded area. Maybe they follow or something. And yeah, I mean, again, I can't prove that this is what happened to me, but the timing made me feel like this was not just some random guy who magically guessed I had a new iPhone in my pocket, and that's what scares me the most. Because you see, when people talk about safety in Rio, they usually say things like don't walk alone at night, don't go to dangerous areas, don't show your phone, and yes, all of that is true, but sometimes one tiny moment is enough. I'm not making this video to say don't come to Rio. That's not what I actually believe. I still love the city. Yeah, I still live here, and I don't want to become another foreigner on the internet screaming that Brazil is dangerous for clicks. But I also don't want to lie, because if you're coming here, especially as a tourist, you need to understand that the difference between Rio being beautiful and Rio being easy. Rio is beautiful, Rio is not easy. And that's actually why I make videos about Brazil. Not to sell a fake paradise and not to scare people away either. I want to show the real version of this country, because Brazil can be chaotic, risky and frustrating, but it can also be one of the warmest places on earth. For example, I recently visited a Brazilian school, and it was honestly one of the most beautiful experiences I've ever had. And the energy, the kids, the way people treated me, it reminded me why I still love this country, even after nights like this. So if you want the honest version of Brazil, the good, the bad, the funny and the complicated, subscribe to the channel, because this story is just one side of Rio. Alright, let's get back to it. So after the robbery, I went straight to the police station and I waited there for hours, filling out the report, waiting for them to fill out their part, and just trying to understand what I could actually do next. And while I was there, I saw 2 or 3 other people come in with almost the same story. Some of them were foreigners too. Also robbed, also phones, also around Lapa or Flamengo. And sitting there waiting, I had this weird realization that this was not some rare movie scene that happened only to me. This is a pattern. There are places, times and situations where this kind of crimes becomes, well, much more likely. And that night I had walked straight into one of them. So eventually I went back home, and only after I got home my phone finally flagged. The location appeared, and it was back in Lapa. So I immediately called the police. I told them my phone is showing a location. I can literally see where it is. And this is where the things became even more frustrating, because they basically told me you need to go there and call the police from nearby. At first I honestly did not understand, because I was thinking, wait, the phone is showing the location, it's maybe 20 minutes away. Why can't someone just go there from the police? But they told me that I had to be close to the location, so the police could go with me. That felt really strange to me, honestly, but I didn't want to lose the chance, so I went back towards the area where was my phone, technically, and when we arrived with the police, we could literally see the building where the phone had just pinged. But then the location disappeared. And once the location was gone, there was nothing else they could do. No one explained clearly what the next legal step could be. No one told me how a search warrant would work. No one gave me some magical solution. It was just, that's it. Your phone is gone. And then later, after I went back home again, the phone pinged one more time. But this time it was in a favela, and there was absolutely no way I was going there. I still called the police just in case, and they told me the same thing, go nearby and call us from there. But even on the phone, they basically told me that, well, we don't really recommend you that you go there. So I was stuck. If I don't go, nothing happens, and if I go, I might put myself in danger. And that was the moment where I understood that I was completely out of options. The phone was gone. So here are my honest safety tips if you're coming to Rio. If you're going out at night, especially to Lapa, Centro, or crowded party areas, don't bring your main phone if you don't need to. Use an old phone if you have one, or even bring a cheaper phone with only the apps you need, like Uber for example. Don't bring things you can't afford to lose. Don't keep your phone in your hand while waiting outside, and don't stand near the street scrolling. Be careful inside cars too, especially with windows open or when the car stops. If you have a new expensive phone, use a case that doesn't scream new iPhone. Keep it hidden. And if you use Uber at night, check the roads, keep windows closed and avoid stopping with your phone visible near the window. And if you go to Lapa, go with people, leave before it gets too late if you can, and don't treat the crowd as protection. A crowded street can still be dangerous. And if something does happen, don't fight, of course. No phone is worth your life. Just give it, block the phone, change your password, I don't know, cancel cards if needed. And please don't chase your phone into other places because Find My Phone gave you a little blue dot. That blue dot is not worth anything. But I also want to say something else. This experience didn't make me hate Brazil. Well, actually it did for a couple of days, but it made me understand Brazil better, because Rio is a city of extremes. You can have one of the most beautiful days of your life here and one of the most stressful nights of your life in the same week. You can meet the warmest people in the world and still live in a city where inequality, crime and chaos are real. Both things are true, and that's what makes talking about Rio so difficult, because if you only show the beaches, you're lying. But if you only show the danger, you're also lying. The truth is somewhere in the middle. And honestly, that's exactly why Brazil is so fascinating to me and to other people, because this country is never just one thing. It can be beautiful and chaotic at the same time, warm and dangerous, paradise and trauma. Sometimes all at the same place. And actually, one of the best examples of that is Ilha Grande. It's one of my favorite places here in Brazil. No cars, only beaches, jungle, crystal water, and it feels like the opposite of that stressful night in Rio. But when you look deeper, the island has one of the darkest history in the country. It used to be home to one of Brazil's most dangerous prisons. It was a quarantine hospital, and today people go there to relax on the beach. That contrast is exactly what Brazil feels like sometimes. Beautiful on the surface, but with a much deeper story underneath. So if you want to see the other side of Brazil, watch my Ilha Grande video next. It's one of my favorite places ever. And it shows exactly why, even after nights like this, Brazil is still a country I can't stop talking about. Stay safe, my name is Bev, I'll see you there.